What's up, everybody? It's Lo, your host, and the rest of the Vols ATB crew with Brando, Alex, and Drew. We're all finally reunited again after what's felt like 3 or 4 weeks of all of us being back together. And it's kind of a weird time because we don't have any sports actively going on right now, but we are back this week, whether you guys like it or not. And we are going to roll with a bunch of recruiting stuff, mostly by Brando and Drew, because that's not really my forte. And then we're going to go to questions that you guys submitted to us via Twitter. So, and then if you're watching on YouTube, just know that you can also pop in and ask us stuff, and we'll also try to catch stuff live on Twitter. So, Brando, let's kick off some questions.
Yeah, I guess if we're going to hop straight into the recruiting, I know Drew, he has to, feel good about this. Finally getting some help on the defensive side. Tennessee had a really successful defensive recruiting weekend, picking up commitments from John Slaughter, 3-star safety, and also 3-star linebacker Jeremiah Thielander. I definitely expect those star ratings to change. Like, these guys are top of the top talent. Slaughter's been impressing at camps. Thielander, back-to-back 130-plus tackle seasons in high school. Kid's a dog. So getting these two guys that have been Tennessee, targets for a while, really, really big on other teams' boards, getting those locked in. I feel like that was a huge win, especially on the defensive side of the ball. All in all, though, really, really crazy weekend. Tennessee got it done with about maybe 6 to 7 kids, in the driver's seat, looking good, all looking healthy after a, kind of traumatic week with the whole Carnell Tate thing the last time we talked. But, it couldn't have gone better for Tennessee. And I guess the first thing before we discuss everyone else, Drew, John Slaughter, Jeremiah Thielander, what's your thoughts on those pickups?
Yeah, I know that Jeremiah Thielander has been a guy that's been on, Heupel's board, I think since early last year. So for him to finally be able to get that commitment early is huge. And I think given the circumstances from after, that disappointing, commitment with Carnell Tate, him going to Ohio State, I think this was a good bounce back. And from what I've heard from everything with, Francis Malagoa, and with a couple others that were there in that recruiting visit, it was it sounds like it was a fantastic weekend for Heupel and his staff. And so I think we're definitely right back in the right direction. And who knows? I mean, I know Brandon was going to touch base about this, but I think 4th of July is going to be a good day, boys.
Let's go.
I'm pretty sure about that.
Alex.
Hey, I was just listening. I ain't really kept up with recruiting. I ain't been here in a minute, so I was just
scholar AI over here.
No, I'm just listening. Honestly, I will say, I guess the only comment I had is that I thought with the way that Slaughter's presence on Twitter's been, that he has been committed to us for a long time. Because anytime he does anything, he's been hyping us up. He's been hyping us up from the moment that we really started showing interest in really pursuing after him. So that's always good to see. It's always good to see the positive circulation of recruiting vibes around us right now, because we did hit that rough stretch where we lost somebody that we thought we was getting, and people were kind of upset about that. And that happens. But again, these are kids; they make their own decisions, and you just got to let the chips fall where they may. But in terms of who we got, I'm excited. I'm excited anytime we get anybody, and I love just seeing the GBO tweets from Heupel. All that stuff gets me excited, but yeah, I'm gonna leave this up to y'all. Y'all got it.
And by y'all, we mean Brando and Drew, because I do not keep up with recruiting. I will say, someone on our Twitter said, it's at Cause Kramer1. He says next week we have Conyer, Eccles, and Jaden Smith, and hopefully Francis. Does any of that mean anything?
Yeah. So to talk about this week before I hop in that, I was gonna say John Slaughter, when he committed, that kid had me fired up. So I don't know if y'all saw, but I run the Instagram account over at Vols Hoops, and I went live with it. And they were on top of Neyland Stadium, and it was actually the day before Thielander officially committed. He committed to the staff the day before, and I think it got leaked on live as well. But just on the live recruiting everybody, guys over there, guys that were next year's class already hopping in. I love the kid's energy out the gate, and then Jeremiah Thielander, getting him there, him using my edit, that was pretty cool too. All in all, a great weekend. You look at the July 4th weekend, and we hop into that. You have one July 1st. There's, I'm not going to mention that name, but July 3rd, everyone knows Christian Conyers been public about that decision. You have July 4th with Francis and Nathan Equalos over there, the 5-star 2024, ranked #1 edge in the 2024 class. I'm pretty sure he camped here, and Tennessee recruited him on the tight end side. You kind of saw everything kind of fall together with Alex Golish, the offensive coordinator, tweeting boom. Everyone's like, hey, what's going on? So that was pretty cool. If that all comes to fruition, that would be great. On the Francis side, I'm hearing really great things. I heard that his family, they enjoyed the Tennessee visit the best. They only visited Miami and Tennessee together. So those two schools, obviously Miami on the NIL front, landing Jaden Rashada, they've been absolutely on fire. But I think Tennessee with the whole Nico vibe, NIL thing, I still expect good news on July 4th on that side. And then Christian Conyer going into the state of Kentucky, every time he's been back and forth, the kind of sway of his thought there has been different. But being on campus with John Slaughter, he said that, John Slaughter is one of his best friends. And I think that relationship on top with, Coach Martinez, I think I saw a crazy stat. Coach Martinez has put more draft picks in like the last 12 months than Kentucky has like the last decade. It was something crazy like that. And just to throw that out to the kid as he's making his decision. If we land Christian Conyer, the kid that I believe is before him, July 4th, get two there, would be an absolute crazy stretch in recruiting. And then you still have multiple guys that are soon to make a decision. So we're just going to stay silent.
Okay. Drew, anything to add to that?
I got nothing else to say. So Brando spoke beautifully on that part. So
Drew, I expected some return talk from Drew. I got more though, but
return talk.
Yeah, Drew, you're supposed to be my hype man over here.
I mean, I've already touched base with Francis. I think it's huge the fact that him and Nico have such a close relationship, and I really think that's going to wind up being the reason why he comes here, as opposed to Miami.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I know Miami's offered him a great NIL deal, allegedly, but I think even all despite that, I still think he's going to wind up here, and I think it's really going to it's just going to fall even more after that. And I think Jaden Smith, I think that's probably the one guy I'm excited about more.
Yeah,
because he's just.
I forgot to mention him, but I think Jalen Smith, he's the guy from Grayson out there. People don't know the linebacker. He broke the Grayson High School tackle record. So Tennessee going into the state of Georgia, getting two potential 4-star linebacker recruits out of there. I know it's loaded out there in that state, but to still say you went in their state and took 2 4-stars out of there, and you're probably going to do it again with multiple positions this year, that was great in itself. So,
and I mean, the fact for him to break the school record for tackles in a season is beyond impressive, because that's the same school that produced Robert Kimdichie, the number one recruit that went to Ole Miss several years ago. So
he still has a senior year.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we're fucking back. So
that's what Drew was sweet.
Turn of events. Now we're saying
Drew is on board. He's fucking crazy. I guess to finish it off, the guys that aren't making decisions soon, Nathan Leacock. I know it's a Tennessee-Michigan battle. He's one of the top receivers on both of our boards. I think Tennessee leads there. Chad Simmons put a prediction in with him. Shamad Umarov, the offensive tackle that visited with Nico as well, top 20 tackle. I think that's a Tennessee-Georgia battle, and the sooner he commits, the better for Tennessee. And then Jordan Matthews, the corner, picking between LSU, Texas, and Tennessee, 4-star, top 20 corner. Just before we came on air, Drew was complaining about the DB work. So if we got a 4-star, top 20 DB, I'm sure that would kind of help him up over there. On the next,
my complaints about the secondary is very reasonable. Okay,
it's valid. It's valid.
Very valid. They're very valid.
Very
valid. I hear you.
But I'm glad we're finally they're focusing on the secondary, because that's where we need the help the most, more than any other position. So.
Yeah, I'd say the only the only negative part was probably with the 3 guys. Jeremiah Cobb, he's making his decision soon. It sounds like he's all but Auburn bound. You have Jakeem Jackson. I know he had a good visit, but I still expect him to be at Florida. And then Hunter Osborne, Rodney Garner was working him hard there. He kind of wanted to wait to do a decision, but really a big Clemson target right now. And they kind of told him that if you're not making a decision before July 5th, we're not going to take you. We're moving on. And it sounds like he's going to join the class and get locked in. Dabo's out here scaring kids into committing. So you saw what they've kind of been doing lately. I think it's 11 commits in 13 days, ridiculous. So they're trying to lock their things down. And then off campus, a big name everyone's been caring about, Cameron Seldon. He went to Penn State, crystal ball there right now. I think Tennessee, the visit going out there might have helped Tennessee. It sounds like they're really high on Trayon Webb. And I know that Cameron Sullivan, like he loves the role they putting out there for him as a running back, wide receiver mix, kind of like Debo Samuel. So if they land Trayon Webb, which might come before the 30th, I expect that to kind of give Tennessee the full package for Cameron Sullivan. And that would be a huge pickup as well. So
Dang. There's a lot going on. I just can't keep up with. Like, honestly, I truly can't because it changes so fast. But one thing I will say, like, I mean, are y'all confident that Francis is coming here? Like, you really, truly think that?
That was my question too.
I guess I had that written down, like a prediction that I wanted us all to kind of do. Christian Conyers on the 3rd, the ones that are announced. Christian Conyers on the 3rd, Jonathan Ecklos on the 4th, along with Francis. That would result in 14 stars, like, depending on where you look. And everyone, like, when T-Lander and Slaughter committed, it was like, oh, 3-star you, da-da-da-da. You go out there and back-to-back days, you land a 4-star and 2 5-stars. Like, I think Tennessee goes 3 for 3.
Dang.
Respectfully.
I mean, even if they go 2 for 3, like it's still a fantastic weekend. But if you asked me about 2.5, 3 weeks ago on Francis, I probably would have been iffy about it. But like the ground, it looks like Tennessee made up from this past weekend's visit, and the fact that we're still technically in the lead of this recruiting bout over Miami's insane NIL deal that they're offering, I think it just speaks volumes on how close of him and Nico really are. And like on how much his parents truly enjoyed it here in Knoxville last weekend. And I think I really do think what's going to wind up as a Vol.
Yeah. So,
well, I mean, it's a big culture thing too. I mean, and honestly, it's not just the school or just the football team. I mean, you got to think about it from all aspects, or at least I would, as a student, athlete, and as his parents are checking out these cities. Sorry, Alex, but Miami just is not the greatest.
For Miami.
Oh, no, I agree. This shit's expensive. I tell you that. Inflation really hitting us hard right now, so I'd be moving out too. I can't lie. But
I don't think they'll have any trouble with that, with affording that.
No, true. But I will say also to the Francis stuff, I know that he was mentioned on like big boards like a couple of times prior to like the last like 2 to 3 weeks. But then definitely in the last 2 to 3 weeks, even me being like as detached as I have been, I've seen his name circulating a lot more with connections to us, with talking about how much he's loved his visit and how much time he's spent on campus with our coaches, our coaching staff and stuff. So, and then also we get Brando Nugs. We get those in the chat daily. So anytime I see that, I'm like, yeah, he's coming to us. So I'm always sold. But no, I feel like all things are still pointing to us, even after, like y'all said, the visit to I guess here technically. We always need good linemen because it don't really matter what else you got in the backfield if they can't be upright. So
yeah,
I'm always good for 5-star tackles coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about it. The last I heard is that they came to Knoxville, they left, and now the full family, after getting the kind of feel for it, they've mentioned that Tennessee was like the best kind of visit they had. They've went home to Hawaii. They're all together. And I think Greg Bibbins and AP have both said that kind of the family's wanting to make a decision in the next 24 hours because tomorrow's the 30th, making an announcement on the 4th, having a 5-day thing. And they also announced he'd be announcing on CBS, which Tennessee doesn't have the best luck with that, but that doesn't play a factor. But I think that all in all, I think the family's going to go home, decide, and think that Tennessee's the best place to play. You have Nico blocking for, someone in your bloodline, someone that's, been recruiting you hard and is the whole reason he's even here and fell in love with the staff. But even if we don't, I mean, if the small chance you guys go to Miami, I think it's still a successful weekend because you're getting a 5-star and a 4-star, like Drew said, but fully expect Tennessee to go 3 for 3.
And I think unlike with the skill set that Francis have, that he's the type of guy that will literally, the moment he arrives on campus, he's going to be starting. Like, I think he's going to even have more of a bigger impact than Trey Smith. Like, that's how, like, I really believe that.
I hope you're right. That's freaking awesome. You guys get me hyped up every time we talk about this. 3 for 3 on that. I will be very excited.
No, I think we're going to be rolling. I think Tennessee is really set up well. You get the unknown name on the 1st. You have the 3rd, the 4th, Cameron Sullivan on the 7th, Jalen Smith on the 10th. That's as domino as it gets in this recruiting world. That's great pickups, all solid 4-star pickups. Be huge.
Hey, I was gonna ask something, I guess, because we've mentioned him a couple times on air already, but I never saw this personally. But was people really mad about Nico's pants? Like I've heard like
His
people have been saying like
pajamas.
why are we talking about a dude's like what he wears when he's playing in these 7-on-7s and whatever?
I
Like
mean,
they really mad that he out there wearing pajama pants. Is that true?
the Reds on Vol for Life, like on Vol for Life Facebook, were not too thrilled about it. They're like, he looks like a damn bum kid in high school.
My
Who
gosh.
cares? It's like dude's freaking throwing dimes. Like he could
Yeah.
Hey,
in onesie for all I care. Like
hey, if you tearing people apart in damn pajama pants, I'd hate to see you put on some pads and like a uniform and see what you can do. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
just it was
Like,
just
you really
it was just the old time rednecks that were pissed off
Well,
about.
those are the same old time rednecks who will be out there freaking getting out of control when he dominates here.
exactly.
It,
Exactly. They're gonna be the first ones to cheer
Oh.
for him.
it will be the same people like 40, 50-year-old rednecks in East Tennessee that are wearing pajamas in Neyland Stadium September.
Exactly. Nico will have like an NIL line of pajama pants, and they'll just be fucking.
They go buy the first pair. I promise they
Hey,
will. They absolutely
I'll
will.
let you know. People were sick because Nico, being the top rated quarterback today is the Elite 11 finals where Nico qualified earlier this year for the Nashville one. Well, it turns out it's his final volleyball tournament. It's a national tournament. One of the top teams in the country. They made it this far. Now they're going to play in the championship. Nico said he's not going to compete in the Elite 11 competition, which is like rarely unheard of for a top QB prospect. He said, I'm going to go out there, play with my teammates, and get the job done. Only one last time he could play with them, and he chose to do that over Elite 11. I thought that showed crazy leadership of what we're going to get. And I'm sure people will try to dog him in the rankings and put these guys that did compete up there like they always do. But that just shows me what kind of leader he can be.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely love that. Like, talk about freaking loyalty. He's like,
Thanks.
I mean, I just love that. Like, that's where your loyalty lies. You can't let these people behind. Plus, I saw some clips of his volleyball, and
He's a demon.
I was freaking out over that. He was really good.
That also just shows like a selfless player too. You know what I'm saying? Like he had the opportunity to go and like I guess like quote unquote better himself or like put himself in the spotlight at like an Elite 11 camp, but he decided to sacrifice that opportunity to be with his volleyball team. Like no, like those are the people you want on your team who care more about the team's success than their own personal growth and stuff like that. So I don't like that's what I'm saying. I'm so confused why people are getting mad. Like there's no reason to get mad.
But like he's not the first. He's not the first person to do it. Like Joe Burrow did it. He skipped an official visit to Ohio State just so that he could play in an AAU basketball game with his friends. So like,
bro, yeah, like why we just look for stuff to get mad at times. I'm like, let's be happy.
I was on the Vols account. I was on Instagram Live with Hayes Fawcett, the known account. He was on a burner, and what he was telling me is that like the whole kind of vibe from On 3, 24/7 and Rivals is that when Nico came, like right now he's the number 3 guy behind Arch and Malachi Nelson from USC, and we all know Nico's a better quarterback than Arch Manning. Just the whole name dispute, like this is a proven fact. But they were kind of saying that if he did compete, like they were all full and ready to give him that number 1 QB spot. And I know we all want that number 1 QB spot, but to hear that come out of Hayes' mouth and then understand like what Nico was doing outside, doing for his friends and his family, like that just tells me everything. Like I already knew we had the number 1 quarterback, but to know that he's like the number 1 quarterback in this class and he has that mental character already before he's even a freshman in college, like it's crazy.
Absolutely. I think it's fantastic.
I agree.
I mean, but does it really matter though if he has that number 1 on him? I mean, technically, Jarrett Garantano was the number 1, pocket his recruiting class. That doesn't mean anything. So
Harrison Bailey.
Oh, that's perfect. I totally about him.
Yeah.
So.
Lord have mercy. Oh Lord.
Away from blood. He'll be balling it out with Tate Martell. So
I thought he retired.
No, he's still there.
God. Yeah. So, I guess to finish off football. Oh wait. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, Drew, did you want to mention that one guy that went to the coal mines today?
Oh. Yeah. our like practice squad running back that decided to join the coal miners.
Kentucky fans are raising their hands in victory because they landed D. Beckwith and Ramon Jefferson today. And like they're convinced that they just out-recruited Tennessee when Ramon Jefferson couldn't get in here for academic and legal issues, and D. Beckwith couldn't see the field since the last time we played the last game under Pruitt. Like it just blew my mind to see these guys like blow up on my timeline.
I mean, if they want to get all fired up about a guy that had 6 carries for 27 yards in 2.5 years, be my guest. But I think respectfully, of course. I mean, congrats, D, on your, if you're listening,
on going from SEC to SEC.
Are listening, but if you are listening, congrats on playing for an SEC program. Tennessee's bitch. Sorry, but
you gotta smell cold.
But I mean, you would have thought as if they landed Nico. They're all tickled to death about Steve Beckworth. Again, no disrespect.
Not worth.
Oh, sorry, that's how bad he was. Forgot his last Steve Beckworth.
Since we already are on that topic, real quick, I think we should bring up that question because someone asked how he would fit in Kentucky's scheme. What is y'all's opinions on that?
What I saw from their fan base is Kentucky is fully convinced with their offseason and their hirings, the offensive things. They hired a guy from the 49ers after the guy from the Rams left him, I think Liam Cohen or whatever. So they're fully expecting to go like fullback tight end with D. Beckwith. And it blows my mind that they think that will work when he's like 6'5", 225, like 224. I feel like if under Josh Heupel, a guy that knows how to make people in size, like he's put multiple tight ends and receivers in the league. If D. Beckwith was anything to like line up as a tight end or a receiving core, like Josh Heupel would have took advantage of that. He would have said, get that guy on the field. Like I don't expect it to work. I think that size comparisons that like the height is like a disadvantage. If he was like smaller and bigger, like I could 100% see it. But when we saw him on the field, like he just couldn't hit gaps like a running back or a fullback. And I just don't understand what they're going to try to bring over with that NFL guy.
So it's like what, Brando mentioned about they got Ramon Jefferson, which I'll be honest with you, that was a good get for them. Like
he's a good kid.
Would have gotten him. It's unfortunate that he just wasn't able to get in, but he'll play well for them like next year. But I was thinking about this and I was doing some research on it. They're all SEC running back Chris Rodriguez. He's on track now to actually return to the team. He's been training at their facilities for the last 2 or 3 weeks at their camps and everything. And it looks like that he may have like a 3 or 4 game suspension, but he's going to be back. So that kind of leaves Beckwith in a situation where he's already, if you put him at running back, he's already third string because they're going to start Chris Rodriguez once he's back. And they're definitely going to have Ramon Jefferson as a backup or a starter to fill in that starting position while Rodriguez is gone. So you're looking at a situation for him where he's either going to be a tight end, which like Brando, I don't really see why. I mean, I've seen it happen before. Jalen Hurts, a good example of someone that went from running back to wide receiver / tight end.
In the Big 12.
Or, potentially seeing him at linebacker. I know that he played a little bit of linebacker in high school. And I know that Florida back in years ago recruited him as a tight end linebacker. But it's a move that doesn't make any sense. And, no disrespect to the kid whatsoever, of course. I mean, I wish him nothing but the best, except when he plays us, of course. But it's just a move that didn't make any sense whatsoever, considering they have Ramon Jefferson and Chris Rodriguez now.
Yeah, I mean, he's a freak athlete. He has the body and size. I remember we all saw the photos when he was like first getting here into training and always in the weight room, like all the clips. Like the dude's a beast. Like he's physically, like he could probably have a career in bodybuilding after football if he doesn't go to the NFL. Respectfully, I don't know where he'll end up in the next. He has 4 years of eligibility. If he rides all 4 of those at Kentucky, wherever he does go, like whatever he does, like the kid's built like a machine.
He'd be great for WWE.
There we go. And I would cheer him on. Just like Bianca Belair, I would be like, the Tennessee's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, like The Rock was a football player at Miami, and then he came, a WWE legend. Maybe that's what D. Beckwith's calling is. I mean, who knows? So.
Hey, I think though, Drew, you brought up a really good point talking about Heupel's offense. And what he's known to do is, one, his offenses are very wide open. And if you are a playmaker, you will be on the field. and also the fact that he is very good at exploiting matchups. So if there's somebody, like if there's a defender on the other side that like you can eat that matchup, like he's going to put you out there and he's going to put you in a position to get the ball. So along with that, like you also said, how many times did we see him on the field? Very limited, right? So again, if he like wasn't cut out for the system, or like the system didn't fit him, or there was no way to incorporate him into the system because X, Y, and Z, then that's fine if you move on. Because I mean, again, like he's looking for the best opportunity for himself to showcase his own skills. That's fine. Go somewhere else. But like in terms of us, like I feel like with the talent that we have coming in and the talent that we already have on campus, I think we're going to be perfectly fine, and there's no reason to worry about that.
Well, I mean, that was the problem with him, though. Is like he couldn't he couldn't find an opening when he was running the ball. I mean, he only averaged 3 yards a carry, and then he couldn't block either, which is what you have to do in Heupel's offense if you're not running. Like you have to be another,
especially if you 6'5".
I mean, like he's 6'5". I mean, like Jalen Wright was better at blocking than he was. I mean, so again, no disrespect to the kid whatsoever. I wish him the best.
Drew's just saying that.
No disrespect, because he just spit on the kid.
But I mean,
so he doesn't come beat his ass.
Well, luckily for me, he's in the coal mines. They don't really have cars over there, so I think I'll be all right.
Oh my God.
Well, let me just say, I think y'all have been so respectful and like well thought out with your answers. And when I read this, I was like, who gives a fuck how he fits into Kentucky? That's not my business.
This is a Tennessee podcast.
Yeah. I was like, I don't care what they do with him. I mean, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying, I mean, that's nothing bad on his talent or who he is as a person, but I don't care what Kentucky does with him. Let them figure it out.
Yeah, low 1 second. Drew's been so disrespectful about this. Next second.
I don't give a fuck what you
I said you guys have been respectful. I said you keep saying disrespectfully because you don't want him to come beat your ass.
No disrespect. He's probably going to be a great WWE or UFC wrestler.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a lot of former college football players. Olivia St. Preux for Tennessee, killing it. In the mixed martial arts world. And I'm sure we got some like WWE people. I don't really know. I don't really care personally, but that's not.
God.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad athlete at all. I think he's a great athlete, probably a cool dude. I've never met him, but I mean, that's just when I heard that question, I was like, I don't care what they do.
Yeah, I mean, he just didn't. I mean, good luck to the kid. He might be a linebacker for Kentucky. So
yeah, and honestly, with this, he's honestly probably gonna have his best game of the season against us.
And we'll
There's
still
no
win.
shot. I don't even think these
We're
seasons
still gonna win, but.
Touchdowns, but yeah.
Hey, yeah, running back, linebacker, that's fine. Do whatever. Just play bad against us. I really don't care. You can have a Heisman campaign as long as when we show up to the game, you just play like ass. I don't care.
Well, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about a Heisman campaign with him personally. But
there you go. So that's already one step out of the way.
Anyways, regardless, we wish him the best. Hopefully he does well, etc.
I was shitting on you the last 10 minutes of our show, but
he's still a Vol for lifer. So,
all right, good stuff. Do you guys have any more other recruiting stuff before we dive into these questions?
Not besides like what I closed with July 1st, 3rd, 4th, 7th, and 10th. I just think the dominoes, like they're going to be falling. A lot of GBO tweets, a lot of memes, a lot of Tennessee confidence saying the Vols are bad. Like, I just think it's like it'll be after that happens. I think it'll line up with like 50 days away from football, and I think those final 50 days are just going to be all chaos, like madness. Mm-hmm. So it's a decade of the Vols, boys.
DOTV.
I mean, Pruitt was right about that.
Yeah,
not include him.
All right. Well, I guess we'll dive into these questions then. So these are questions that we asked y'all on our Twitter account to send us to talk about because we don't have any sports actively going on right now. And if we send out tweets like that in the future, it doesn't have to necessarily be sports related. We're going to kick off this whole segment with a non-sports related question. So first question was from at Stone Cold Vols 98, who asked us what our Mount Rushmore of alcohol is, and he told us to let the hair down a little bit. And I will be honest, before they go through their answers, that in the group chat, I was like, what the fuck does this mean? I literally
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
and now I figured it out. So top 4 alcohols. And I guess go in order if you can.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm a fresh 21, so I'm exploring right here. Like, what, Drew? What's with the face?
First beer at 21 at 12.
I'm explore. Yeah, I'm new to the activity. Nah, I don't know. You can't go wrong with some twisted teas with your boys for sure. Bro, you have to understand where I'm coming from.
Drew, apparently that's all wrong by Drew.
My
Peter said Bush Light. Are y'all Bush Light fan?
hell yeah, Peter knows what's up. So
I don't feel comfortable commenting on this topic, Drew. Drew makes me feel uncomfortable.
No, what's your top 4, Brando? Like we got.
Go ahead. You already got
one.
Bro, I really don't know. I'm a virgin.
All right, dude. Do you want to go or you want me
I'm literally sipping Trulies right now.
You like Shirley Temples, Brando?
Oh God.
I don't even know what a fucking Shirley Temple is. Drew.
Hey, I saw a tweet once that said if you drank Shirley Temples as a kid, you probably grew up an alcoholic. So
I mean,
that's all I'm saying. They were not very wrong.
I'm basically like an alcoholic virgin, but I've been started with seltzers. Thoughts?
that is more respectable of twisted tea. I will give you that. So
Okay, thank you.
All right, who's next?
all right, Alex, go for it.
This
Okay,
experienced alcoholic over here in Drew.
I'll go. So I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've been drinking since I was like 14. So and it kind of helped a lot to live in Europe like for 5.5 years, where kids start drinking when they're like 8.
Bro, who hurt you?
Tennessee athletics. I mean, like,
oh my God,
what we're talking about.
I mean, that's it. So, beer number 1 for me. I don't really care what type of beer it is. None of that fancy like IPA, wheat ale bullshit, nonsense, hippie, bullshit. Don't like that. Just give me a Busch Light, give me a Natty Light, give me something where I can drink like 25 of them and get hammered. Number 2, Four Locos. Nothing is better than a Four Loko on game day where you can get completely blacked out drunk after 2. I personally kind of like fruit punch flavor myself, but I am open to all varieties. 3, this one will probably surprise y'all a little bit, but pink gin is fucking delicious. All right. Pink gin is like I think Brando, you'd like it. It has a little bit of a sweet taste to it. Okay. So it's not too overwhelming. I know you like your sweetness, twisted teas and the seltzer. So it'd be a good variety. Nice little pink gin and tonic on a sunny afternoon. Oh, you can't go wrong. Fantastic. And number 4, I mean, whiskey. I mean, I'll drink the shittiest shit. I mean, I'm talking about Jim Beam, whatever. Tullamore Dew, Jameson, good old Jack Daniels, whatever.
What about Travelers Club?
Travelers Club? I have not had it, so I'll have to do a tasting on that. So
horrible. Don't do it.
I've
but
had
you said
pretty awful shit. So, but yeah, Four Locos and beer. That's my top 2. So if you ever see me at a tailgate, just give me one or the other, and I'll be a happy man.
That's wild that you like willingly drink a Four Loko. Like that blows my mind.
Complete psychopath. You should know.
That is absolutely crazy behavior. Okay, so also somewhat like Drew, my 4 are they have their specific place. Okay, so for my mixed drink, I'm looking at Jim Beam Vanilla, and that's because when you put it in Diet Coke, it tastes like vanilla Coke. Also, you don't have to worry about calories. So when you drink Diet Coke, you get drunk quicker. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So fun fact to the friends out there. Second, my choice of beer is also, y'all going to hate me for this one, Michelob Ultra. That's what I grew up on. I don't care. Drew, you can make a face.
Jim Beam Vanilla. Michelob,
that's worse than my fucking Trulies.
45-year-old mom.
That's not true. That's not true. I don't care. Anyways, y'all not drinking it. I am. My sipping whiskey, because I really only drink whiskey. I don't like vodka or tequila or anything like that.
Fair.
My sipping whiskey, I'm going to go to Maker's Mark. Very smooth. You can drink it warm or on ice. I do prefer ice, but that's okay. And then if I'm taking a shot of something, it's probably going to be in an airplane bottle that I snuck into Neyland Stadium. And it's probably going to be either Jim Beam Peach or Jim Beam Honey because it goes down quicker. So those are my 4. I will also throw in an honorable mention of the hard Mountain Dew drinks. They are not as bad as you would think they are. Drew, do not roll your eyes.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, though, because my brother and I got in a really intense argument about this in San Juan about 3.5 weeks ago.
The new
Baja
ones?
Blast flavor is not that bad.
Yes.
Now, the other,
No, exactly.
It's
like
so
the cherry
good.
flavor, fucking disgusting.
No,
But the Baja Blast is actually a solid beverage.
The Baja Blast and the I guess original Mountain Dew flavor, like the normal Mountain Dew flavor, really aren't bad. Okay. And for me, I don't drink seltzers or whatever or anything like that. So for me to say they're not bad, they're probably all right. So that's all I'm gonna say. Granted, I'm very biased in terms of Mountain Dew. I will rep that brand till tomorrow, but that's just me. So that's my 4.5.
We just need Dr. Pepper to start making alcoholic beverages, and then we're
I
complete.
would be perfectly okay with that.
That sounds like the most disgusting thing in my life.
That's hilarious coming from someone that drinks Twisted Teas.
Exactly.
I don't drink
Exactly.
Twisted, I drink Trulies. Let's be honest.
Mature your palate, Brando.
Oh my god, the shots.
All right.
Sprays
Well,
on a Wednesday.
I'm going to sound like the most alcoholic because pretty much all of mine are just hard liquors. So here we
go. So
you just say you are surprised.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are surprised.
Yeah. So I even went as far as naming my favorite brands of each kind.
Okay.
So tequila is number 1. I don't care if it's mixed. I don't care if it's a shot. But Espillon Blanco is by far the absolute best tequila. Total Wine has 150 plus tequilas. And I go in there to try and buy that fucking tequila, and they're sold out every time. It pisses me off. So they need to up their supply. But that's my number 1. Margaritas, all of that. Tequila, number 1. Blue Chair Bay rum. I like rum as my second top favorite grape mixer, but Blue Chair Bay is my favorite. Then, of course, whiskey. Jack Daniels. Great mixer, good shot. But I also do like Jim Beam Vanilla, and one of my good friends drinks that every single time. And with Diet Coke, it is good as hell. You can't lie. I fully agree with that. Drew, just get that ridiculous look off your face.
Gets you drunk quicker. It gets you drunk quicker.
Supposed to be no extra alternative flavors. That nonsense. Just drink it. I mean, like full on Hank Jr. Just pound that bottle of Jim Beam.
God bless.
Continue, Lo. I'm listening.
Anyways, lastly, it's beer/seltzers because I'll definitely drink them often. But if I'm going for a beer that I just genuinely really like the taste of, it's going to be Mick Ultra Pure Gold out of a bottle. Absolutely. Or a Corona with a lime, something like that. And then seltzers, I do like the Mountain Dew seltzers the best. I fucking hate Trulies now. I don't know what it is. I think I'm very
good. Really sucks.
I hate all of them. I hate all of them. I would rather have a White Claw.
The natural.
No shy, Low. White Claw is the worst tasting thing there is.
Nope. I would rather have a White Claw.
The punch pack Trulies are 100% better than any White Claw ever.
Those are so sugary. They taste so fucking fake. I feel like they came out of a plant.
Let's go.
They came out of
a production plant. They took something nasty as fuck and just poured some chemicals in it and put a little bit of aspartame and we're like, here's your damn alcohol.
Hope so. I really hope so.
Y'all got to try the natural light seltzers. I'm telling you, those are good.
I've actually heard they're not
in
bad.
The fridge, bro, and I was like, that's disgusting.
10 out of 10 flavor.
I've heard they're not bad.
They're good.
Half of the people who are listening probably just got drunk over how many actual things of alcohol we've mentioned in the past few minutes.
The Corona
terrible people.
Hey, welcome to the party. That's all I gotta say.
Corona's
there's literally a billion seltzers. The fucking Alani New seltzers, those are good as fuck. All of them.
Hey,
They're really
wait.
good.
Stone Cold said that White Claws taste like TV static looks. I would
They're
agree.
literally
I
they're
honestly would
dog
agree.
water, Stone Cold. That's what
I
I'm
would
saying.
agree to that statement
They're
right there. That's about as
disgusting.
accurate as it
I'd rather
gets.
drink a Truly over a White Claw. What
Yes,
flavor?
one.
It's
I
got
I'm
literally
drinking.
have
I'm
a
drinking
12
one of
pack right next to me.
the black label Trulies, like the lemonade ones. But like,
Okay, I'm talking about a white label traditional fucking
oh,
Truly.
then neither.
Those
I'm choosing like
What, the white
dehydration
label?
and thirst.
Oh no,
Those are
I'm definitely
horrible.
going with the berry pack.
Right. That's not what I'm discussing. I'm comparing white label Claw to white label Truly.
any berry flavor seltzer is fucking disgusting.
Horrible, absolutely horrible.
If it's not lime, if it's not lemon, I don't want it. Okay, simple as that.
Dear God,
Agreed.
I already know that that's a lie, and I'm gonna make sure that I find this because at a tailgate or some shit, I know damn well I'm gonna see you drinking some berry ass.
I will promise. If someone hands me a berry Truly seltzer, I will chuck that motherfucker.
Wait. Low brought up a good point. When drinking
literally in my hand.
We'll literally chuck it into the river.
Literally get rid of it.
Literally in my hand.
Wait. Serious question. Low brings this up. When drinking beer, what has the better taste, out of a can or out of a bottle? I feel like there's only one answer.
I don't know that answer. I haven't tried it.
Can. Brother,
I'm
drink
saying bottle. I'm
say
saying
drink.
bottle.
can Miller Lite is way better than bottled Miller Lite, and it's not even close. Not even close. Shout out to Miller Lite, by the way. Delicious beer.
It depends on the
Sponsor
beer.
us.
I like a nice cold draft beer too. You didn't throw draft.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like,
Well, I was thinking like that. You just like I was assuming like you just buy from the store.
Bottle.
And go.
Peter says
Okay.
bottle. Peter says.
I say
I would say bottle.
Peter, you're wrong in this. I mean, you're wrong.
No, Peter, no, you're not.
Peter is always right. We stand Peter.
I would love to know what Larry's response is with this. Whether
Facts. Where has Larry been?
all guy.
All my
Larry
homies
been
been
real quiet today.
Dude, he messaged me last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago because apparently he was at the same drag race as I was, and I had no idea. He's like, "Man,
What
you
the
could
fuck, Drew?
up." I was like,
What the hell, Drew?
Damn it, Drew. You got to beat your ball for lap.
I was like, I didn't know you were a Larry. Like, if I would have known that, then obviously we would have had a beer. But
We had the Drew and Low meet up.
you're at a drag show.
drag race, like
Drag brunch. He went to
Okay.
drag brunch.
I've been to those before. They're not fun.
They are
He's
fun.
competed in those. He's been in those plenty of times.
Yeah, I'm very cultured and diverse. Up here. Like, yes, I'm very open. So
Oh man.
All the alcohol talk has me thinking about Neyland Stadium.
At a what did you
And
say?
renovations.
It has me thinking about Neyland Stadium and stuff.
Oh yeah. Next question.
I'm so good at this thing. Oh my god.
At Vols football, not the official account. That'd be fun.
Oh my god.
Blue checking everything. This is what they want to know.
That cracked me up. Anyways, this person asked us, what exactly will be finished on the renovations this season? Another Jumbotron, will that be working this year? And how many usable additions will there be like this season, such as concessions, the bar top, or like the beer garden thing, etc.?
Yeah.
Take it away.
Drew, I know Drew's going to touch on this a lot more in depth than me, but I saw a post on Instagram, and the main things it mentioned was like the stadium Wi-Fi finally coming in. Like, I've never been able to make an Instagram post in Neyland. Anytime I've ever went to Neyland in my life, like, can't ever call somebody. I also saw there was like the crazy suites. Mike Eckler put out the post of the Jumbotron, which finally got done, which looks way bigger and, finally might have some HD there in Neyland Stadium. And then they also, obviously like the Vols letters and stuff. But Drew, what else you got in there?
Yeah, so from everything that I've been reading, I've been literally, because I'm like, I just love stadium renovations and that type of stuff. I'm like a total nerd when it comes to that. Everything's still on track to be done by early to mid-August. So there hasn't been any delays. There hasn't been any of that stuff. The Jumbotron is done I mean, it's a done deal. It's finished. I mean, I think it'll officially be finalized and done by this week. They've already started adding steps and handrails on the west side where they're doing like the VIP seating with the seat backs and everything. And I think those seats they'll start installing row by row within the next week or two. So the field level club that they have over there that they have been digging up and everything, that's like the standing area is going to be done. But like as far as like the suites, that's like underneath, it's probably going to be around like October to early November, just because their main priority is just to be able to get seats over there. But like stadium Wi-Fi, huge plus. I mean, I've countless times of losing people over there. The internet connection was so terrible. I know the Vols signs, they're hoping to get that done by kickoff, adding them on each side of the Jumbotron. The bar is going to be hopping. The standing room only is going to be good to go. They're going to have the seats over there in the upper deck within the next 3 to 4 weeks. I think that'll probably only take a few days, quite honestly, because there's not that many seats. What I do know is that they're expanding the southeast and the southwest entries over in Gate 10 and Gate 11 to make the concourse much wider, which they have needed that for about 20 years now. So I'm glad they finally got that over with.
Maybe even 50.
Maybe 50. You're probably right, honestly. And so they're going to extend the concourse zones all over the state. And then they're going to be adding, how they have the brick over there at Gate 21 on that side of the stadium. They're going to add that same thing over there at Gate 10 and Gate 11. So stadium's going to look beautiful. It's going to be great. It's going to be the stadium of all stadiums. It's going to be the greatest stadium ever seen, as Trump would say. But most of that will be done by 2022. And as far as the entries for the concourses, that's probably going to be done around by 2024 or 2025.
Hey, honestly, the only things that I really wanted to see were another Jumbotron, which is getting done. The Vol signs to go back up, which is getting done. And once I heard that we were doing new bathrooms, but we gonna be pissing in troughs for the end of time, right?
Danny White is too rich to piss in a trough, I think.
Well, he don't come down and use our bathrooms.
I'll tell you what, he might be too rich to piss in those troughs, but us good.
Us common folk, Brando.
Not, okay, yeah. So it's tradition. You keep the troughs.
That's what I'm saying. No, it's at this point it really is tradition. You just like, all right, I'm gonna go piss in the trough right quick.
Yeah, I mean,
until a Georgia woman comes in there and shits in one, and then you're fucking like,
well, then I piss on her, I guess. Like I don't know what to tell you.
I'm pretty sure you
get her out.
Oh my god,
get her out.
Sorry, Alex. Go back to you.
So what I was saying originally, renovations and stuff, beautiful place, beautiful campus. What was I saying? Oh, the only thing that I care about really, like, honestly, I was so concerned that we were going to drop below 100,000 seats in Neyland. And once you announced that, Brando, that we was at like what 101,910 or something like that.
101,915. So 101,915.
Okay.
They should have made it 865.
Stop.
Oh my god, that would have been sick.
Hey.
That's what they get for not asking my opinion.
Anyway, no, honestly, my fear was that we were going to drop down to like 98,000 and some, and then everybody was going to hit us with it feels like 98, don't it? Anytime we lost. So I was honestly like terrified of that, but we avoided that. We stayed above 100, and I love that. I didn't even try to get Instagram posts off in Neyland because I couldn't get texts off. So I know if my texts weren't sending, I wasn't even going to try to play on any kind of social media app. But yeah, we stayed above 100. We're getting a bar. That's a plus. Never thought that would happen.
Really fucking lit.
We got our Vol signs and we got a Jumbotron on the other side. Like I'm cooling. I'm really good. Like I appreciate what they're doing. So.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I find it very believe that we only lost 500 seats between tearing in like 4 sections in the upper deck and then like ripping off like 2,000 bleachers.
That's wild.
Well, the thing is,
I believe that for a second.
The standing room only shit, I think, is a difference. They probably have like a max capacity rule, so they're including like, 550 people can be at this section, so they're adding that in instead of not having like you may not have a seat, but hell yeah, you can stand there. That's why.
Yeah, I mean. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't care less if we had dropped under 100,000. We don't ever really get 100,000 people in there anyway. So, and even if it dropped to 95 or 90,000, it's still going to be the loudest place in the country to play a game.
True.
So
there's something about being one of like only 6 or 7 schools in the country to say like I can put 100,000 people in my stadium if I wanted to. You know, I don't know. It's more of like it's more bragging rights than anything in my opinion.
I just think, I mean, I do kind of I really wanted to stay in that 6-figure mark just because I think it's cool. I know that we don't ever usually get there, or not recently, but I just think it's a cool little thing to have. I just think these renovations are going to be so sick. Like, it was just a few years ago, you weren't allowed to have a beer in there, and everyone's like sneaking in shit in their boots, which they still are. But
Yeah.
it's the fact that like I can physically go buy a beer or 2 or whatever, however many I want, and watch the game. However, that does lead me into the next question, which this is a huge issue from last year. At Vol and Chain asked us, will I be leaving my seat with 4 minutes left in the first quarter to get a beer, only to come back mid-third quarter still? That is a massive issue.
I can't answer for Vol and Chain, but I absolutely will, and I always do. But what they really need to do, and I know the old timers, the Reds, they're going to hate it. They already hate the fact that we're serving that devil's water over in Neyland Stadium. But you know what? How about we have beer stands and literally in every two sections we have a beer stand, because you don't have the ridiculous 3,000 people line over there trying to get a $15 Dos Equis. Okay, so it would help a lot. It would make it better, make it more efficient, But, also go back to the fact what Lo was saying, that how we can finally have alcohol. Uncle Al, maybe with the bar, they might have your Jim Beam vanilla or your peach or your pineapple flavor or whatever you drink. So.
Fingers crossed.
I just think this is beyond creepy, because that is exactly what I was going to propose. And I've never been on the same wavelength as Drew, and I'm not sure I ever want to be again.
Oh, God.
One time. But I did. I said literally every 2 sections, you have your own beer stand. Not only are they going to capitalize on even more sales, because more people are going to get up for a shorter line, but it also makes it better for us because we don't miss the game that we paid fucking $300, $400 for to sit our ass in the seat and watch, or actually stand, because I'm just going to stand the whole time. But
you can add this argument to the folks that don't like alcohol being served. Look, we're adding more jobs, so it's better. So look, I mean, win-win.
More jobs, more money in that NIL fund.
Exactly.
If more people are up and at the concession stand, then like you have a clearer side of the game. There's less people.
I don't know. I think back to the Ole Miss game and like the alcohol numbers that came out of that game, like what happened that night last year, like an all-time high, the season high from like any school in the country. That night, Tennessee sold more money in alcohol sales. And then I also agree with y'all that, there needs to definitely be more stands, because even though I wasn't 21 at the time and I couldn't purchase it, like it was definitely noticeable, like how far you had to go and like the lines that were there trying to get to a bathroom, trying to get to a concession. My only worry is like with the new renovations, how more crowded it might make it in the tunnels, like trying to sit in there. But as long as it doesn't like cause like a major crowding thing in general with people just trying to walk and, get in and out, like there definitely needs to be more stands. It would bring us more money, gives the university more money. And I think all in all, like it helps us and get to see the game.
Let me also be devil's advocate for that specific game. People may have had their tempers so high because they're waiting so fucking long to get their beers. Maybe if they got it in like 5 or 10 minutes, then they wouldn't have been so angry.
See, and that's why you should add a beer stand on every 2 sections.
I hope that
solved. I mean, it's just.
Hey, are we really going to blame the long lines or the referees fucking us and Jacob Warren on the 4th and 26?
The long lines. Long lines. Because if there was more of us, already had our beer in our hands in every 2 sections, we would have been louder, and we probably would have wound up having the momentum shift on our side. So, in a way, yes, UT's incompetence is kind of the reason why we lost.
Hey, you heard it here.
Talk about a slippery slope.
Oh my God. I didn't expect that turn.
Hey,
Peter
I will
says we
say,
need to
though-
reach out.
Oh, go ahead.
He said we need
Oh.
to reach out and get the skinny on this. It's a great idea, and I couldn't agree more.
I
Call
agree.
Danny White, call Juice, call whoever you need to call. Get it done. You know, just
I
You
agree.
got to give Danny No Nugs a good pitch. Be like, Danny, do you hate making money? Because I a
we're
brilliant
literally so rich.
You
More
hate profits, Danny?
any proposal you've ever had. More beer stands. And on top of that, we need people like how they did at MLB, NFL games, have beer vendors go up and down the stairs. So that way,
Want a
you
beer?
don't have to leave your seat, get all redneck, angry, fair, get furious, Alcoa angry, whatever, Kyle pissed off. You can still give your all while at the same time pay $19 for a beer.
Hey,
listen.
here's my other thing. If we're talking about beer renovations, I mean, you can easily just we have so much technology. Like, why
Need a
can't
vending machine.
check you in once? You get what I'm saying? Like, you
Yep.
scan the ID, you're like once per game, and then you take your ID up, and like they keep it in a registry so they can also keep track of how many you've actually bought, so they aren't like overselling, because that was one of their biggest criterias from what I heard was that, oh, well, we can't keep track of how many beers we're selling to this many people. And that's also why they try to spread them out, is so that they aren't overselling like every quarter or whatever.
But they never run out though. They obviously plan to sell so much because they've never ran out. And like, to spend millions in alcohol sales for Ole Miss, and we didn't run out of beer. Like, every closet, I believe, in Neyland Stadium, like it has to be full. There's no shot. So to say they want to regulate at the same time, there's just no way when you have all of it there.
Well, and is it really financially feasible to have all of these people? I mean, when you see them like restocking the shelves with all of these fucking cans, and then they're running out and people are having to run all over.
Oh, we might have lost her.
Remember the phone?
I agree with that. I agree.
I agree with this, right?
she was trying to say, trying to say like run across the stage.
If you
That
really
is a serious ass
break
face
down-
right there. She got something to say in that picture.
Oh yeah, she does. If you really break it down, though, I mean, if you think about from a financial perspective, where you have the lines for 20 or 25 minutes, and people are going to grow impatient, off, they're going to be angry.
You're right.
And then they're, that's boom, that's 15, that's 30, that's $60 lost. So you're looking at potentially Tennessee's losing thousands of dollars every single year because of their incompetence by not having beer every other section.
Hey, I will say there have been legitimate times where, like, let's say I'm going to a game or whatever, that I've prepared more beforehand because I knew that those beer lines were going to be long and they weren't like going to be standable. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I carried a little bit extra on me because I was like, you know what? I know I can't get up to get a beer anytime soon. So let me just like take matters into my own hands. Granted, one, it's cheaper. Two, I don't have to wait in the line. You know what I'm saying? So like, I've like went to a game preparing that in mind, like that scenario in mind, that I won't have to wait for a beer because it is that bad.
Welcome back.
Y'all, my fucking power just went out.
Oh,
It's a Brando special.
Yeah, I was gonna say you sound like Brando.
It's a
Coming from
Brando
the car.
special. I'm on my phone right now.
Hey, welcome back. At least you made it.
I don't know what rant I was in the middle of, and all the lights.
You were talking about having to run across the stadium to grab a beer. Like,
yeah, is anyone opposed to fucking draft beer? Like, what is the problem with draft beer? Way cheaper.
I agree.
I mean, fuck, all you gotta do, you can have them running and pumping, and that's way less people running around, getting all sweaty and hot and bothered, carrying these big fucking things around. It's crazy.
Well,
it would be so much cheaper.
They also know that we come into the stadium already like pissed, like slob to the knob, like gone and self. So like I already imagine like next year, like the pregame parties for the Vols ATB crew, and then going in, if they add more beer stands and like giving us especially more access to it. Thinking about the guys that do already go crazy pregame, guys that are out there for a 7 p.m. kickoff at 11 a.m., aka AI, Uncle Al over there. Yeah. So, to talk about, limiting people, like maybe they know better and they know who they're dealing with.
I fully agree. I mean, hell, I don't know. They need to get it together because we will drink them dry this year.
If we're
Well,
not going to have craft beer, how about we at least start selling Four Locos?
please.
Four Locos and fruit punch Trulies, Drew. Let's
Drew,
get
they
it.
want to make money, not kill people.
You're going to make money
Like,
anyway. I mean, like, you know, like to finish, like what I was like finish the point low. We're losing financially tens of thousands of dollars a year for people waiting in lines for 20 to 30 minutes just to buy just one Dos Equis. If we had beer stands in every two sections, think
they should
about
raise the limit to $2.
even $20,000 that we could add in that revenue alone. So it's just incompetent Donnie Plowman, you know, caving in to all these like, you know, Campbell County people and, you know, Red that don't want to get like, you know, get with the times. Okay. It's 2022. We want to black out Neyland. Okay.
But no Four Locos, bro.
No, because Drew's going to be blacked out of his mind, rushing the field in Neyland
all
after
of
26
the
again.
18-year-old sorority girls are just fangirling over Drew right now for the Four Loco.
He's so smart.
Drew
my
went from being the
God.
show villain on
He
the
has
football
such good
arc, and now he
taste.
might have just brought himself back for the
Exactly.
Vols ATB show.
You're right.
I think you just reversed your whole trend on the show.
I don't like the table.
Oh,
Dear
man.
God.
I can't believe I'm just sitting here in the dark. It makes zero
Someone
sense.
had to hit a poll or something, probably.
So
Probably.
are we going to touch base on the other two questions that people asked, or
Which one? I didn't even read the questions.
Is it just all alcohol?
I hope so. This
has been fun, though. We've been talking for like 30 minutes strictly on alcohol.
What are all the other questions?
I've got one right here, locked and loaded.
Amen.
At CD Norton 3 asked us what our thoughts are on defense for this upcoming season, and especially in the secondary.
I was just talking about how good Drew is being on the show, and I already know that this topic is going to bring him right back to reality. I'm going to be the light of it and say that I think the additions of Andre Turrentine, Wesley Walker from Georgia Tech, two Nashville boys finally coming home, helping the secondary. Hopefully have a healthy Juwan Mitchell, Jeremy Banks. Drew mentioned before the show the stat line of Aaron Beasley really being high on there. So I think a lot of the positions that we might be really worried about, you know, there's definitely some caution to be worried, and we might just shit the bed. But as long as we score points, I think we'll be all right. But the defense in itself, it has to be better. Like, I need some kind of improvement from last year, and I think we lost low again. So
that's okay. We'll continue on.
I mean, Brando, I'm like, you know, I a little disrespect to the fact that you started off a little side.
I had a little Christopher Gabriel in me, bro. Like, I don't know, man.
Little gut push that you just
a little CG in me. Welcome back, Lo.
I was listening, but I just had to check a message real quick.
That was a little bit
of she texted.
But you know, I'll digress up here. So I'll start with my point.
Okay.
Tim Banks replacing Matthew Butler is going to be the biggest challenge that he has this year, you know? And I think we have a lot of talented guys on our defense. Well, Brando, let me finish. I think we have a lot of talented guys on our defensive line. You know, I think Elijah Simmons and Amari Thomas and DeJoun Terry are all going to take big steps, you know, this year. I really feel highly about DeJoun Terry, too, because he actually played pretty well for Kansas. He was one of the very few bright spots about that team. You know, and as far as the edge rushers go, like, you know, with Byron Young and Tyler Barron, I think as far as a duo goes on both of those sides, I think it's about as good as you're going to get in the conference. Like, I feel very highly confident that Byron Young is going to wind up with at least 10 sacks this year. Like,
100%.
I really truly believe that. And then, you know, and we do have some young talent coming in with James Pierce and Joshua Josephs. But this is young quality depth, though. Like, these are, you know, 4-star guys that could make an impact, and they'll get playing time as well. And, you know, and it's hard to believe, despite some of the talented defensive lines that Tennessee's had over the years, especially in the 90s. But you're talking about last year, they broke the program record for most tackles for losses in a season.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, considering how depleted that we were on, you know, defensive side of the ball, the fact that we broke the program record in year one speaks volumes for Rodney Gardner, and I think it speaks a lot of volumes for Tim Banks as well. And I think, you know, the linebacker corp is not going to be really much of an issue. There is a little bit hesitant, about Aaron Beasley, but he had 84 tackles this year. Jawan Mitchell is going to be coming back, and I think he's going to be a big contributor, rotating with, Jeremy Banks. And I think Jeremy Banks is going to be a first all-SEC linebacker. I really believe that. If he can be a little bit more disciplined and, get rid of the ridiculous, penalties that he had last year, there's no doubt in my mind that he will be at least second all-SEC, if not first all-SEC team.
Yeah.
Secondary.
Not to cut you off, Alex, before you jump in, but Drew, I'm going to give you two names. One at the linebacker, or three actually, at each position on the defensive side. One at the linebacker, Elijah Herring. I feel like that's a name that can definitely be a name right there. On the defensive line, I feel like Bryson Eason. He's made a crazy shift with his body on the defensive line with Rodney Garner. I feel like he has all the potential in the world. And then on the DB side, I definitely think a guy like Kamal Haddon, Brandon Turrentine, or Deshaun Rucker, any three of those guys could easily come in and just show lights off.
Yeah, I thought Kamal Haddon was, a good mention. I feel like Desmond Williams is I think he's going to surprise with some folks too. He was a highly touted JUCO transfer. I think he can make a good impact. And I mean, I've given shit about Warren Burrell over the last several months, but I'm believing, since with him being a returning senior, that he's actually going to be somewhat decent for us. So he's not going to be a complete liability, but he will be better than last year.
Oh, how are we forgetting Jalen McCullough?
McCullough too, yeah. So, and also Trayvon Flowers too. I mean, Trayvon Flowers.
Andre Turrentine. I mean, we could go on. When you talk about the names, when you think about it, you don't think about it a lot, but when you say the names, there's a lot of depth there that could have a good amount of potential.
They just got to put the pieces together. And I think under year 2 of Tim Banks, I think they will. And I think the defense is going to be much improved from last year. I'm still worried about the secondary, but I think our defensive line is not going to skip a beat.
Well, our secondary I was horrified of last year's defensive scheme. I feel way more confident this year, and they did fine last year. I think we are going to be way better off now. Obviously secondary is going to be an issue, but what does it matter if we're out here scoring all these touchdowns?
True, but you also need to stop people on third down, because opposition offenses were converting 42% of their third downs last year against us. So if we can if we cut that down to 35, I genuinely believe this. If we cut it down to 35% or below, this team will probably win 9 or 10 games this year.
Bro, we're three drives last year from winning 10 games last year. Think about it, from the Pitt game, the Hendon Hooker 4th down scramble, the Ole Miss game, how that turned out, the Purdue game, how that turned out. There's a lot of games that Tennessee lost they should have won. And to hear Drew over here talk about 9 to 10 games winning, next year, I thought I was in a crazy state of mind for this episode, but Drew's over here preaching. I can't believe it.
I'm just saying, literally the third down defenses killed us last year. It really did. It was the reason why Ole Miss won. It really is.
Matt Corral scrambling every single play.
The same with Kenny Pickett, right, with Pitt. And, hell, at Purdue especially. My God.
Yeah. I guess that's another thing in general, is stopping a mobile quarterback, because it felt like every time the locks were there from the DBs and everyone would go back and play in coverage, and then you'd have a QB scramble for 30 yards. Even the Purdue guy who was a 6th-year walk-on did it a few plays. It was ridiculous. So,
but let's look at also some of the quarterbacks that were doing that. It's not like they're trash.
Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, all 3 draft picks.
Right. So you've got to respect that, because looking at these previous Tennessee teams and the fact that they really couldn't do anything, and then looking at we're talking about they couldn't stop these quarterbacks. I'm laughing too, because we just got a group text.
Yeah.
In the middle of me talking, but I'm gonna.
I can see in my eyes Alex running to the bathroom to pit. It's just.
You just exposed him, man.
He's going to do a tactical refresh. Sorry, but.
Oh my God. Anyways, what I'm getting at is those are 3 pretty respectable quarterbacks that you aren't just gonna it's not just Tennessee that had trouble tackling them, is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
So, and especially first year Heupel team with a defense that none of us ever expected to even perform
playing against our offensive speed too.
that they did. So.
Yeah. And you got to think about it. Like people eventually learned how to take advantage of it. Like Kentucky, Purdue, realizing that if we play fast, they just have to play the long game, run it down our throats. And, we plan according to that probably every week. It didn't work for Kentucky to do it. We won that game, but it definitely happened with Purdue and them getting, back-to-back quick touchdowns and then kind of possessing the clock there. Kind of, if teams can stop our momentum and keep the ball away from us, that's how we're not dangerous, because that defense is always going to be on the field. But like Lo said earlier, our offense is going to be unstoppable. We have all returning pieces going 4 wide, Brew McCoy, Cedric Tillman. You still got Jacob Warren and Princeton Fant, 2 really, really guys that have been here for like 5-6 years now. So all well going. I think this offense is going to be kind of unstoppable. Everyone talks about Hendon Hooker being a top 5 QB in the nation this year. So, score points improved from last year, and there's no reason like you shouldn't be the expected 9-3. And if you set the bar and go 10-2 and only lose to Bama and Georgia, like we're talking about a crazy New Year's Six Bowl. So
that's such a dream. And if we did get into that, I fully expect Ronnie to pay my way to go.
Oh yeah.
The only down part about that is if we do play in a New Year's Six Bowl is I hope to God we don't play in the Sugar Bowl, because you want to know what time the kickoff is this year for the Sugar Bowl?
Is it noon?
It's 11 a.m. It's 11.
Oh my God.
So we're gonna have to start drinking at 4:00 in the morning, which again, but
your point,
it would not be feasible because for the rest of the day you're kind of screwed. So
hey, I will give my all for Tennessee today. That's all I heard.
Oh my God.
Okay.
That would be such a time. We're getting ahead of ourselves. The fact that Drew even agreed that was even a remote possibility kills.
And he said 9-10 wins are it's crazy. We got to refurbish Drew all because we talked about some beer. I think Stone Cold saved this. Stone Cold, if you're listening still, you saved this podcast.
All right, let's settle down here. All right, let's. I love the question though.
This name, he went from Skip Bayless to Max Kellerman.
Oh, gross. No, I want to skip again. Sorry, Max Kellerman sucks.
Oh my gosh, shots fired at Max.
Terrible rapper, terrible, sports commentator. He's just. No, I'm sure he's a nice guy though, somewhat.
Great guy, nice guy.
Great guy.
As well.
All the best for him.
Bless his heart.
Do we have one final one?
No disrespect to the guy.
No, I think we covered all of them, didn't we?
I think so too, actually.
Was it 4 of them?
No, we covered one of them earlier.
Oh yeah, the one was the Mount Rushmore. I just literally forgot about it. The Mount Rushmore of alcohol.
Yeah, that's what got us on all of our debauchery.
Fucking crazy rant. Usually it's Jeremy Pruitt or Jared Garantano. This time was a Mount Rushmore. So growth on the Vols ATB show.
Stone Cold, that was a good question. If you
Maturity.
see us at the tailgate in the future, you know what to
Oh,
give
he's
me.
gonna see us.
Four Loco.
I love Stone Cold.
A Busch Light.
A truly wild berry.
Hey, he's gonna get an airplane bottle of Jim Beam honey from me.
That was fun.
He gonna be shooting it. We shooting whiskey.
Chuck it like Joe Milton.
Oh my, true. You
What?
went with a positive. We
So
could have
up
had
and
this.
down. So
God.
inconsistent.
It's our defense again. Like fuck.
But he's have a rocket of an arm? Okay. I mean, if we're just gonna, act like we're in Rainbow Land and not speak the truth, then that's fine, I guess.
Hey, don't.
It was a banger.
You gotta soften with that rainbow talk. I'm not.
No.
Yeah, bro, it's June. Chill out.
Oh my God, guys, we're hard knocks.
Yeah.
Shout out Ron Cat.
Yeah. Shout out to Ron Cat.
Hey, for real, shout
All
out Ron Cat. That's the dude. He took care of me.
Oh yeah, I guess a little teaser. We might be having an announcement soon.
Yeah, we got
Officially,
a pretty big announcement coming up
maybe next week's episode.
Next
We
week.
going live.
A lot of grammar.
It's whatever y'all want to do. If you want to announce, I don't care. But
I don't want
next
to do
week.
it now. I want to.
Okay, yeah, next week. Yeah, next.
Build it up. A lot
Just
of
know we out here
a lot
going
of grammar.
crazy.
spewing around here, around the Knox County parts, So, but
Wait, is July 4th next Wednesday?
that is Monday.
Monday.
Well, fuck. So we're gonna come back and we might have 14 stars plus making our announcement. That'll be a crazy episode. So that's
That's
what I'm looking
kind of
forward
why I
to.
wanted it to be next week too.
Yeah,
Just
that'll be lit.
Fireworks, baby. Fireworks.
all right. Well, Is everyone what? We went for well over an hour.
An hour 10 and 45.
We aren't even in sports right now. It's kind of people are probably like, we
Bringing
don't.
you entertainment, talking you off the ledge is what the Vols ATB crew does best. You know, we got to keep each other sane.
Convincing you that Four Locos is a great day beverage as well.
No, convincing that we should probably switch to draft beer and add multiple beer stands.
Of course.
Every two sections.
Of course.
And maybe, you know, since it'll switch to draft beer, we can knock the price down.
I mean, that's happen. I mean, they'll just which don't get draft beer in Neyland. I'll be more than happy to pay $19 for it. So
yeah, this is the perfect time to end the show. Drew's off the ledge.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, like they're going to prices by at least $3 or $4 if they go draft.
Oh my God! I swear, if we get the Neyland Stadium and all this fucking craziness, what's going on in the real world now, makes it way to Neyland Stadium and on the beer cost because of this episode. Drew's just down.
Bro, those prices are already inflated. We can't afford more inflation.
Prices. Drew here was not.
I mean, they're going to probably combat with the inflation, which, you know, makes sense from a financial perspective because, you know, if they probably kept their beer costs at $15 a can, they're probably going to lose a lot of money. So this is why they need to add Four Locos in there because it would be a financially, you know, affordable substitute that people could drink on, but as opposed to a $19 draft Bud Light.
Or we could just put some natty in there, you know, natty.
Put a natty in the stadium because we don't have one in the stadium.
Or the proposal would have is, you know, Costco has their Kirkland Light where you can buy like 64 cans. That would be another affordable alternative for sure.
Kirkland Light.
Good. It's good. It's actually affordable. Don't ever drink it. It's the worst thing I've ever had.
You might be able to afford the can of damn Four Loko, but you still have to afford the hospital bills when it sends you there. That's the thing. That's disgusting.
If I was in the hospital during the Pruitt era, then I'm never going to be in the hospital. So
I was in the hospital last year, so it didn't start out well.
There you go. See,
not for the alcohol though. I ain't a pussy like that.
Probably because somebody's drinking a Four Loko near you.
Probably. Right. It's probably Drew.
I mean, it's not freaking poison, guys. I mean, my God, like just because you're price.
It is poison.
Actual poison.
Everything's poison.
That's true.
Like this rant that we are running this, like we are running this.
I thought
show.
we were wrapping it up like a condom. Here we are.
I'm done.
Drew and his fucking beer takes. Like,
wrap it up.
Back next week with some awesome recruits as a part of the Vols. I'm certain of it. We're going to come back with some awesome news for us moving forward.
Facts.
And big announcement. And yeah, that's it. Fun show. Thanks for all of your questions. Like I said, it doesn't have to be sports related. We're just trying to keep the show going in this off season. So anything y'all want us to talk about, let us know. And we will see you guys next week with more fun facts. More fun. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
3 commits.